that's really impacted the beverage industry over the last few years has been the sugar levy. And
Yeah.
Cawston has taken a different approach to a lot of other brands. How have you seen the impact of the sugar levy on other brands, Cawston? What are your thoughts about it?
So yeah, this came in, I want to say 2017. Um, we at the time at Cawston had a fruit-based drink, but it had some sugar in it as well. Um, Now, for those who don't know exactly what the sugar levy is, it's any drink that's above 5% sugar has a 18p per litre um, tax on it. Anything above 8% has 24p per litre. Now,
Mm.
when you put that into the economics of it, it basically you have to put the cost up of the drink, and
Mm.
the only one that remained so was Coke, like what I call proper Coke, what
The
a lot of
red
people call
Coke.
red Coke. Um, but people will have noticed, people who buy it will have noticed that the price went up. They passed on that price. But what we didn't realize at the time was what was going to happen. So we looked at keeping it the same, which was a blend of sugar and juice, and paying the sugar levy, because we were between this 5 and 8% sugar. And the point is that with the sugar levy, even if you have 1 grain of sugar and your total sugars were above 5%, you'd have to pay this sugar levy.
Mm.
So it didn't matter if it was only a small amount. Anyway, so we looked at that. We looked at taking all the sugar out and replacing with just juice to sweeten, because if you're just juice, then you can go above that 5% and you don't have to pay the sugar levy.
Mhm.
And then we also looked at sweeteners, as we've just talked about, because there are not just sweeteners, but things called sweetness modulators, which are based on stevia, but you can put down as a natural flavoring. And I was told they don't really have an aftertaste, and actually might work quite well. And so we could use those and sugar below 5%, and we'd have something that, was something that was more than satisfactory to us. Anyway, went through the whole trials of these, the sweetness modulator. Surprise, surprise, it really tastes of stevia. And so yeah, I was sold not a lie, but something that was a bit over the top there. Um, and we decided to go down the route of just sweeten with apple juice. Um, so it was quite a switch, because although we already had apple juice, when you go from part apple juice to full, it's quite a flavor change. So I had to then adjust all the recipes accordingly, because apple obviously has its own flavor and you've got to overlay that flavor. It's not a bad flavor, but you need to balance those
Yeah.
flavors. So we relaunched with this, and expecting some people to go down the route of sweeteners. Sweeteners are much cheaper, but they do have an aftertaste, and there's a lot of us, including us too, who don't like the aftertaste of sweeteners, whether
Mm.
it's a stevia, which is the only natural one allowed in the UK, or the likes of sucralose or aspartame or Ace K or whatever. Um, but what turned out, apart from Coke, that they all, apart from a few of the very premium ones in glass, went down the route of um, adding some sort of sweetener, often stevia. So you can name any brand, and it's not, I don't want to be poo pooing any brands, but
Sure.
it really was, you can't find any drinks out there really now, apart from Red Coke. And like I say, some of the more premium ones in glass that are just sweetened with sugar. And the other thing that I wanted to cover here really is about sweetness. So
Mm.
people think of calories and how much sugar is in it. But when you have something that might have less than 5% sugars, but has some added sweetener, the thing is they're really trying to hit the old sweetness level. And the old sweetness level is similar to Coke. And as
Yeah.
we've talked about a lot before, Coke is about 10.6% sugar. That was not, that was quite average for most drinks. And it was actually the likes of the old Jamaica
Mm.
pre-sugar levy, which was back in, well, when I was a kid at least, was up to 16%. Now it came down sooner, but it was always ginger beers that were the sweetest ones, really, because that sugar seasons the ginger and
Sure.
it works together. But yeah, it was a surprise. We came out of it, and I think it had two sort of things. Our raw materials in our drinks are far more expensive than anyone else. They're the best quality. You're getting a bargain essentially, because you're getting not from concentrate juice, but apple to sweeten plus others. You're getting natural flavorings, often extracts, which are 100% from that fruit, and sparkling water. Whereas with others, you've got from concentrate juices, you've got sweeteners, you've got sugar, which is cheap, and you've got other things to replicate the texture in the mouth sometimes. So you because you put a sweetener in, where you're losing that body that sugar gives you. So what we've ended up with, I think, is a drink that is a really premium product, and more premium than anyone else in the category, really, for that reason, especially in cans. So I think it's good, but it does cost us money. And what we've got to convince people as a brand is it's worth paying more for, because they're getting much better ingredients for that money.
Yeah.